I'm going to be teaching 3 classes. I'm going to fix the text, hopefully real quick before I have to start. Okay, I had to restart my class 1 minute before it's starting, so I might be a minute late. And this first class is my youth spelling class, and they're always there right on time. But I saw that my computer had a little bit of a technical issue, so I had to restart my computer about 30 seconds before class starts. So they might be wondering where I am, but hopefully it'll restart here pretty quickly. They might be curious if there's class today if I'm not there, so hopefully this will work quickly. All right, yay, it worked. Let's try this again. Let these guys in. So I'm about to start my youth spelling class, and then after that, I have an adult spelling class and then an adult reading class. Okay, let this work, let this work. Come on, tech. I always say a little prayer before I start all of my classes. Yay, it's working. Fantastic. Okay. And here they all are already in class, ready to go, of course. It looks a little different, rats. What on earth? Oh, okay, there we go. Sorry, guys. All right, I'm about to start my live class right now. Hello, everybody. Sorry about that late start. It was about 1 minute before class had to start, and then I noticed that I had a little bit of a technical issue with the computer, so I had to restart the whole thing, but it looks like we are golden now. Yay. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. It's so nice to see you all here. It looks like things are just slightly looking a little different on my end. I wonder if that is because when I restarted it, there was a new update. I don't know, but I'm happy to see you all in the Q&A. Hello, everybody. It's nice to see you. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our warm-up. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions, well, 6 questions really, but this first question is I want you to count how many sounds are in the word humble. How many sounds are in the word humble? And then drop that in the Q&A for me. Q&A for me. How many sounds in humble? All right, we're getting 4s, 5s, and 6s. And some 7s in the Q&A. How many sounds in humble? How many sounds in humble? Okay, let's figure it out. So you might be tempted to think that huh is 1 sound, but that's actually 2. We have to break off the from that voiceless sound, right? That H is only air, no vocal cords are used. So we have b, l, 5. Again, because I got a lot of 6s and 7s here in the chat. So let's try that again. 5. Ready? B, l. 5 sounds, and this is how those sounds are spelled. So there's what those 5 sounds looks like. You're going to see that silent E at the end. That is because that is a consonant LE syllable. So that E is just there to be the vowel in that syllable. All right, we're off to a great start. You either got it or you got very close. Oh, that's okay, Nemat and Sheath. Okay, good. I'm so happy to hear that. Woo. Okay, number 2. How many sounds are in the word detective? Count how many sounds are in the word detective for me. And then put that in the Q&A. How many sounds are in detective? Okay, we are counting the sounds in detective. Aiden, are you going to let me guess which one of those numbers it is? Hopefully it's one of those. Detective. All right, we're getting 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, and 9s, and 10s. So we're getting a whole assortment of answers. Let's figure out. In detective, it's really important that your brain realizes that the D sound is separate from the E sound. So the sound for D isn't D. The sound for D is D. Only your tongue is working. D, D. And then we have the E. Okay? So we have D, E, T, E, K, T, I, V. 8. Again. D, E, T, E, K, T, I, V. 8 sounds, and here's how those sounds are spelled. So every letter says what you would expect. That first E says E because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. That second E says because the next 2 letters are consonants. That IVE at the end is spelling IV. That is a suffix that comes at the end of a lot of words. That silent E isn't making the I say I, it's preventing that V from being the last letter. When you're spelling in English, V can't be the last letter. You have to have a silent E after it. That's why have has a silent E after it, and give has a silent E after it. E always has a reason. It's never there for no reason. Good job, Sloan. All right, last one to count. This one's a long one. How many sounds in independence? Independence with a S at the end. Take your time, count how many sounds in independence. How many sounds in independence? And then put that in the Q&A for me. Take your time because there's a lot. Yeah, we're getting some large numbers now in the chat. I'm getting 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s. Independence. How many sounds? Some 13s. You think 8 again, Sloan? Let's see. Let's see. All right. We have I, N. Make sure you separate those 2. D, E. Make sure you separate those 2. So in is 2 sounds and D is 2 sounds. So we already have 4. Again, I, N, D, E, P, E, N, D, E, N, S. 11. Who got that? A lot of people got 11. Well done. Or you got really close. So let's try that again, just in case you didn't, so that you can figure it out. I, N, D, E, P, E, N, D, E, N, S. 11 sounds in independence. Here's how those sounds are spelled. So why is that silent D at the end? It's not making anything say it's long sound. It's not preventing the V from being at the end. Why is that silent T there? Remember, it always has a reason. That silent D is there to make the C say S. C can only say that sound, that soft sound, S, if there's an E, I, or Y after it. That's why that E is there. It's nice to know that spelling is actually logical. It does make sense when you understand why all of the letters are there, huh? Okay, 3 more questions for a warm-up. Now these have no print, only in our mind, okay? Say the word crane, crane. Now say crane without the Say crane without the So you can't let your mouth form that pucker sound, that sound. Don't let your lips start to pucker. All right, when you do that, crane without the is cane. So my lips didn't form that shape of the R. It didn't go cur, it went K. So from crane to cane, yeah? How'd you do on that one? Y? Yes, you got it, or A almost. Y or A? Good, Ruby. Nice, Hunter. Good, everyone. Isla, Aiden. That is almost. That's still pretty great in my book. Oh, that's amazing, Karis. Good check. Good Nimachi. Beautiful, everyone. Two more questions. Say the word wait. Wait. Now, say wait, but add a s after the A. Say wait, but add a s after the A. Okay. Did I give you enough time? Wait with a s after the A. All right. Wait, adding that s after the A is waste. Wait to waste. How was that one? Yes or almost? Y or A? Easy, Alyssa? Pretty easy? Well, let's see what you think about this last one. Okay, we have one more. Say the word tiger. Tiger. Now, change the g to a m. Say tiger, but change the g to a m. So, g, changing the g to a is timer. Tiger changed to timer. How is that one? Y or A? Yes or almost? Yay! Beautiful. You guys are getting good at this, which means that your spelling is improving, because if you're able to hear those tiny little units of sound, those tiny little sounds that make up the word, then you can spell them. You have to hear them first. So that's why we do so much work with that. All right, my friends, let's get spelling. So we are in the middle of I month, my second favorite month. I mean, they're all favorites, but I do have some that are more favorite than others. And I really like I for lessons like this one. Are you ready to learn the coolest fun fact you've ever heard about spelling? Did you know that a T-I can say shh? Yeah. T-I together can say shh. Who knew that? Who knew that? Did you know that? You didn't, you did, you did. Maybe you've been in my class before, or maybe you just, really fantastic. Maybe you just knew on your own or from another teacher. That's fantastic. But a lot of people in the Q&A did not know that TI can say shh. Yeah, like look at this word. Nation. Nation. That TI is spelling the sh sound. Now, look back up 2 words above it. Do you see that detective? That TI is not saying sh, it's saying its regular t. So how are you supposed to know when TI will say t and when it will say sh? Here's how you'll know. There are 2 things to look out for. First, it has to be toward the end of a longer word. Not at the beginning, toward the end of a longer word, multisyllable. Second, the next letter has to be a vowel. And then, if that's the case, that TI is probably going to say sh. Now, TI and CI will both say sh, but they are different spellings for different kinds of words. TI will say sh most of the time when there is an ON after it, like TION, you know says sh, and now you know why. I mean, it says shun. That TI is saying sh. The O is making the schwa sound, which we're going to learn why about that in O month. But there you'll see that that TI says sh in TION. You'll also see it in words that have just an A at the end, sh, like militia. Or you'll also see it in words that have an ENT after it, and that says shent, like patient. But in all of those, that TI is saying sh because of those two things. First, it comes toward the end of a longer word. Second, there's a vowel after it. All right, should we practice this? Are you ready to practice? Let me share my screen. Actually, let me prepare my screen to be shared first. Okay, now we're good. Okay. So remember, in this lesson, my friends, we're never going to use an SH to spell the sh sound because I don't want you to wonder if it's an SH or a TI. They both say the same thing as long as that TI is toward the end of a longer word and there's a vowel after it. But here's the thing that's always going to happen in today's lesson. It's always that sh sound is always going to be toward the end, and there's always going to be a vowel after it. So it's always going to be spelled TI, okay? So you're never going to spell the sh sound like this in today's lesson. SH will usually come at the beginning of words or at the end of short words. But we're not going to be working with SH at the beginning, or the sh sound at the beginning, and we're not going to be working with short words. Our words today are going to be longer so that we can practice applying this TI spelling hack. All right, so our first word for the day is plishun. Plishun. We have p, o, I, sh, n. Now I know that I gave you the example of nation as TION, but since we're going to be working so much with TI today, I want to give you those suffixes. TION is a suffix, so I'm going to write it right down here at the bottom. Whenever you hear shun, shun, at the end of today's lesson, spell it this way. TION. That TI is spelling the sh sound, and that O is spelling the schwa sound. All right, so our word is plishun. Plishun. Consonants. P, L, I, shun. We already know our shun because it's right down here, isn't it? Here's our TI, here's our O, here's our N. The only thing left is that I sound right here. Can this I spell a long I sound in that spot? Can that I say I right there? Yes, because there's another vowel in the next one or two spots. So there is plishun. Now here is your word. Your word is trishun. Trishun. We have t, I, sh, n. Trishun. Trishun. And then put it in the Q&A for me. Oh, nice, Alyssa. Your mom taught you that roll? That's amazing. Yes, it's the tall SH. Very good, Sloan. You were with me last year. No wonder you know all of this already. So Hunter, TION and SION, they can say the same thing, but SION usually says jeune, like Euro jeune or television. It can say shun, but only if the letter before it is an N or another S. That doesn't happen very often. All right, so your word, oh, trishun. Trishun. And remember, you're going to spell shun this way, right down here at the bottom corner. That's how you're spelling shun. I'm seeing a lot of correctly spelled words in here. Gorgeous. All right, so our consonants for trishun are T, I. Here's our sh. That's toward the end of a multi-syllable word when there's a vowel after it. And then our n. And we know down here that shun is spelled T-I-O-N in today's lesson. All we have left is that I. Can I spell I right there? Yes, because there's another vowel, 1 or 2 doors down. Congratulations, that was beautiful spelling. All right, next, let's spell the word sipsha together. Sipsha. We have s, I, p, sh, sipsha. I'm going to put another hint down here, just in case you weren't with us in A month. I'm putting the sha spelling right down here in the corner so that you can know exactly how to spell it. You never have to guess. But in sipsha, let's spell our consonants first. We have s, I, p, sh. Toward the end of a longer word with a vowel after it is spelled ti. And here's an If you weren't here in A month, when you hear at the end of a word, spell it with an A. When you hear at the end of a word, spell it with an A. So there's our A. Now all that we have left is I like igloo, inside. And that can be spelled with an I right there, which says it's short sound because the next 2 letters are consonants. Are you ready for yours? Okay, your word is it's a little easy. The one I have written down is a little easy, so I'm trying to make it a little bit more difficult for you. Give me just a second. I want you to spell okay. Try this one. Pifsha. Pifsha. P, I, f, sh, Pifsha. Pifsha. So this sound right here, this middle one, the third sound, is a like feather, friend, or flower. Pifsha. All right, let's see your beautiful work. Gorgeous, everyone. Oh my goodness. Every single word is spelled correctly so far. You are amazing learners. You are such fast learners. Pifsha, if you haven't put your word in yet. Pifsha. Beautiful. Beautiful work. Pifsha. There we go. So Sloan, I want you to change that R into a different sound, because right here it's in the second spot and that's a vowel. Do you see how it's dotted? So that spot right there is going to be spelled with a vowel. Pif sha. Jack, look at this spelling right here at the end, okay? Right down here in the corner. Pif sha ends with a sha, and this is how you spell sha right here. Yeah, you got it. Good. Okay. Consonants we have p, I, sh. Toward the end of a longer word with a vowel after it is spelled with a T-I. That's our spelling hack for the day. And then when you hear at the end of a word, spell it with an A. When you hear at the end of a word, spell it with an A. So all that we have left is our I. I is spelled with a short vowel right there, just fine with a short I, because the next 2 letters are consonants. Gorgeous. Should we go a little harder? What do you think? You want a harder one? Put an E, M, or H in the Q&A if you want a harder one. E, M, or H. Easy, medium, or hard. All right, I'm getting an assortment of answers. So I think we're going to go medium. Yeah, let's do medium. And let's do this next one together, because this isn't the easiest spelling pattern. to grasp. Even though you guys are grasping it amazingly, I still want to go a little slow. Okay, let's do the word triscent. Triscent. We have t, I, sh, n, t. Triscent. Consonants. T, I, sh. How do you spell a sh sound toward the end of a multisyllable word with a vowel after it? With a T, I. And then our other consonants are n, t, triscent. Now here's how you're going to spell shent. I'm going to put it right down here for you, even though you probably don't need that hint. These are the three most common endings that TI is usually going to be attached to in your spelling. Shun, sh, and shent, right there. But let's go back to our vowels now. Triscent. So we have an I. Can that I spell the I sound? Yes, because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors away. Good. And then this sound is spelled with an E. We learned that in E month. When E says E will be spelled with, sorry, will be spelled with an E when the next 2 letters are consonants. Let me say that again. Will be usually spelt with an E when the next 2 letters are consonants. Okay? So there is triscent. Your turn without me. Pliant. Your word is pliant. P-L-I-S-H-E-N-T. Pliant. Take a second. Spell pliant without me. And then drop it in the Q&A. Pliant. Gorgeous. Nice, Alyssa. Good, Hunter. Nice, Karis. Beautiful, everyone. Pliant. Ruby, give me one more letter after the T. Pliant. Take your time. No hurry. Pliant. Gorgeous, Sloan. Very good. All right. Pliant. Wait a minute. What's all this? Can you see all that? Sorry, guys. Pliant. Consonants. We have P, O, I, sh. Toward the end of a multisyllable word, when there's a vowel after it, is spelled with a T-I. That's our spelling hack for the day. N, T. Now you know that that I is going to be spelled with an I right there because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. And you know that this E is going to spell the sound right there. Pliant. Now look at all that you're learning. I think we have time for one more. How about the word Lycian? Lycian. I want O-I-sh-a-n. Spell Lycian for me. You can do it. That was so fast. Very good. Lycian, Lycian. How do you spell Lycian? How do you spell Lycian? Very good, everyone. You would think that you have studied this word before. You're all doing so well. Ruby, I want you to look at this spelling right here for the shun sound at the end. Do you see that in the bottom of the whiteboard right there? Alyssa, same. Look at this spelling for shun right there. You're going to hear shun at the end of a lot of words, my friends. Emotion, lotion, lycian, like today's word. Nation, emotion. It's at the end of a lot of words, and it's almost always spelled T-I-O-N. There you go. Good. All right, our consonants. O, I, sh. There's our T-I before a vowel toward the end of a longer word. And then is spelled with our N. There's our shun. We could finish it up with that O. And here's I, the spell with an I right there because of the tap 2 rule. Now look at all you have learned today. or relearned and just got it even better if you were here with me last year. You learned that SH is only one way to spell the sh sound, and that's usually saved for the beginning of words or at the end of short words. But you can also spell it with a TI, and there's also other ways to spell it too that we're also going to learn. I think one is actually we're learning, yeah, I think we're going to learn another one on Wednesday. But for today we learned that TI will spell the sh sound when it's toward the end of a longer word and there's a vowel after it. And usually it will be part of shun or sha or shent. Now you know. You know what else you know? You're brilliant, but you probably already knew that. All right, my friends, have a great rest of your night. I will see you on Wednesday. Bye, everybody. All right, that was my youth class. Now I'm going to prepare for my adult spelling class, which is going to happen in about 30 seconds here. So in that class, my students were about 7 to about 12, and in this class, my students are about, well, teenagers through adults. I have all ages of older learners in this class. Okay, starting now. All right. So I'm going to focus on them now, but thanks for joining me as I teach. Hello everybody, welcome to spelling class. It's so lovely to have you. Welcome all over the world, whatever time it is. I'm so happy that you made the time to come to spelling class today. I'm going to teach you the funnest thing today. You're going to be so glad that you came. I hope you had a lovely weekend. Thanks for joining me on this wonderful Monday. So let's begin by warming up our ears. Would you please count how many sounds are in the word humble? How many sounds are in the word humble? And then drop that in the Q&A for me, please. Humble. How many sounds in humble? All right, the answers hello are starting to come through here. We're getting a lot of 4s and 5s for how many sounds are in humble. So let's figure it out. First of all, we have to know what sound that H makes. The sound for H is voiceless. There's no vocal cords, no voice box being used. It's only air, only blowing. So the sound for H is not ha. It is simply ha. We have to get the off of it so that we can spell each sound. So for humble, we have ha, b, o. 5 sounds again. B, o. 5 sounds in humble. Here's how those sounds are spelled. Why is that E there? Silent E always has a reason. There are 7 different reasons for a silent E actually, or is it 6? One of the reasons is it simply is being the vowel in that syllable, because every syllable in a word needs a vowel sound. Well, or a vowel. A vowel and a vowel sound can be 2 different things. So in this word, that E is simply being the vowel in that syllable. That's called a consonant LE syllable. If you divided that word into syllables, it would look like that. So that E is simply being the vowel in that syllable. So silent E always has a reason, and I'm going to teach those to you for spelling. So next, please count how many sounds are in the word detective. How many sounds in detective? And then put that in the Q&A. Detective. So we're getting 6s, 7s, and 8s for detective. Let's see what it is. So in detective, we have to make sure that we separate the D from the E sound, first of all, so that the sound for D isn't D, the sound for D is D. Only your tongue works, nothing stretches in your lips, it's just the back of or the tip of your tongue kicking off against the top of your mouth. D, D. So we have D, E, T, E, K, T, E, V. 8. Again, D, E, T, E, K, T, E, V. 8 sounds in detective. Here's how those sounds are spelled. So every vowel is going to say exactly what you would expect. That first E is saying E because that's what E says when there's another vowel 1 or 2 doors down. The second E is spelling the eh sound, the short sound, because there are 2 consonants after it. That IVE is a suffix that says IV. So since that says detective, why is that E there? Since I just was talking to you about every silent E always has a reason. So what's the reason for that silent E right there? If you know it, drop it in the Q&A. Why is that E there in detective? If you're spelling, you need to have a reason for every letter. It's never a mystery and it's never a guess. It's being the vowel in that syllable. Well, in if, there would be 2 vowels in if, so I like where you're going with that though. Yes, Joseph, it can't end with a V. So when you're spelling a word, it can't end with a V. Okay, when you're spelling a word that ends with a V sound, you have to put a silent T at the end. That's why that E is there. It's not making the I say I, it's preventing the V from being the last letter. Same as in give and have. It's not making the vowel long, it's making the V from being at the end. Okay, one more to count. How many sounds in independence? Independence. Count them up, put them in check. That was a lot. How many sounds in independence? 11, 12, 10, 12, 11, 11, 11, 10, 12. All right, so they're coming through here anywhere between 10 and 12 mostly is what we're thinking for today. What's the word? Independence. So let's figure it out. How many sounds are in independence? We have I, make sure you separate those 2 sounds. I, D, E. Make sure you separate those 2 sounds. So that's 4 sounds already. I, D, E, P, E, D, E, S. 11. Again. I, D, E, P, E, D, E, S. 11. Here's how those sounds are spelled. If you look at every vowel, it's following the tap 2 rule. However, why is that E at the end? So if we're working with why is just getting sneak peeks into this silent E spelling patterns, why is this E at the end? In the first one, we saw that that E had to be there to be the vowel in that syllable. In detective, we saw that that E had to be there to prevent the V from being at the end. But what's it doing in independence? Does anybody know? Drop it in the Q&A. Why is that E there? Does anybody know why that E is there at the end of independence? I just told you that E's always have a purpose. Silent E always has a purpose, right? So this one has to have a purpose. What is that purpose? It is so that C can make a soft sound. So C can only make that soft sound if there's an E, I, or Y after it. They could have chosen an S, but a lot of times words will be spelled with a CE instead of an S because S's often make words plural. So CE is a very common spelling for the S sound at the end, and that E is making that C make it soft sound. Now you know. Now you know, my friends. Okay, 3 more warm-up questions. say the word crane. Crane. Now say crane without the er. Say crane without the er. So you can't let your mouth form that R pucker shape. All right, so k-r-a-n without the is k-a-n, cane. Crane to cane. Was that one easy, medium, or hard? Please put an E-M or H in the comments. E-M or H. Easy, hard, easy, medium. Okay, next, two more. Say the word wait. Wait. Now say wait, but add a s after the A. Add a s after the A. Okay, when you do that, wait with a s after the A is waste. Waste. How was that one? Easy, medium, or hard? E, M, or H, please. That one was difficult. Easy, medium. Okay, about the same as the last one. Last question. This is a replacement sound. Say tiger. Now say tiger, but change the g to a m. Say tiger, but change the g to a m. It's all about the mouth shape. Forcing that g back of your throat kick out of the word, closing your lips in that spot instead. So when you do that, tiger changes to timer. Tiger to timer. How is that one? Easy, medium, or hard? Dorsey. Okay. Good, Beverly. Nice, Daryl. Good, everybody. Wait a minute. Every single person thought that was easy? That is unusual. Usually I get a lot of variety on answers. Interesting on that one. Okay, my friends, let's get spelling. So we're in the middle of I month. We're learning some amazing things about I, about how to spell with it. And you're going to love today. You're going to be so happy that you came. If you were with me last year or the year before, then you're going to remember this. But if this is new, then your mind is just going to be enlightened because this spelling happens in so many words. Here it is. SH isn't the only digraph that can spell the sh sound. There's several ways to spell sh. In today's lesson, that sh sound is going to be spelled not with an SH, but with a TI. TI is a common spelling of sh, as in nation or patient or emotion. Do you see the TI spelling sh? So since there are a lot of ways to spell that sound, how are you supposed to know which one to use? Well, I'm glad you asked. Here is a big, juicy hint. SH itself is usually reserved for the beginning of words or at the end of shorter words, like shore, ship, or fish. TI will be how you're going to spell it most of the time. When it's toward the end, there's two rules to when to use TI. The first one is that it's going to be toward the end of a longer word. So a multi-syllable word. That's the first rule. Can't be at the beginning, has to be toward the end of a longer word. That's number one. Number two is there has to be a vowel after it. Look at all those examples. Nation, patient, emotion. They're all, the sh sound is toward the end of a multi-syllable word with a vowel after it. Now we're going to be working exclusively today with TION, TIA, and TIENT. Those are the three most common ways to spell the sh sound. So let me share my screen. All right, who's excited? I am. I is just fun because isn't that the funnest spelling hack? I mean, do you remember when you first learned that TI? You were like, "What?" TI says spells sh. Who knew? Because we just grew up thinking that SH was the only option, but lo and behold, there's several options, several ways to spell the SH sound. So let's practice on when to use this one. Toward the end of a multisyllable word, vowel after it. There's also some other ways to spell it. We're going to learn one of those other ways on Wednesday, but today we're going to focus with this one. So in all of our words today, when we're spelling, when you hear that sh sound, never spell it with an SH. It's not going to be in any of our words, SH. We're only going to be spelling that SH sound with a TI because it's going to follow those patterns that I'm trying to teach you, okay? First word, plishun. Plishun. We have every time. I, sh, consonants. I, sh is going to be spelled with a TI right here because it's toward the end of a multi-syllable word, and there's a vowel after it. We can tell because we dotted that sound right there. And then our last consonant is an N. Now here we can see our shun. Shun is a common suffix that is always spelled T-I-O-N. So I'm going to put that down here at the bottom. That is going to be one of our 3 spellings that include the T-I spelling for the sh sound at the end of our words. And since we can see that it's T-I-O-N, I'm going to drop that O right there. Plishun, we have one more vowel sound. This I sound is going to be spelled with a I right there. It can make a long sound because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors away. Now, doesn't that word make a lot of sense? Doesn't that word say exactly what you would expect? This I says I because of the tap 2 rule. This TI says sh because it's toward the end of a longer word and there's a vowel after it. This O is spelling the schwa sound. That also follows a very common pattern that we're going to learn next month, actually. O will spell the schwa sound in instances like this, when it's toward the end of a multisyllable word and there's a consonant after it. All right, your next word on your own without me is trishun. Trishun. Spell trishun. T-R-I-sh-U-N. Trishun. And then drop it in there. Q&A. Excellent. Very good. So, Rowan, I want you to focus on this spelling of the shun sound at the end, right there. Shun. Try. Shun. It's going to look very similar to this right up here. Trishun. Gorgeous. Beautiful, everyone. Good. Okay. Lily, give me one more letter toward the beginning. I need this sound right here spelled. Okay, consonants. T, I, sh is spelled toward the end of a multisyllable word when there's a vowel after it with a T-I. And then we have our N right there. So let me say this again. Sh is spelled with a T-I when it's toward the end of a longer word and there's a vowel after it. And a longer word just means multisyllable, 2 vowels that don't touch, at least. And then here's our shun sound. It's a unit suffix that is spelled T-I-O-N. All we have left is that I sound that is spelled with a long I right there just fine because of the tap 2 rule. Okay, next. Let's spell the word sipsha. Sipsha. We have s-i-p-sh-a. Now that might look like a short word, but as long as there are 2 vowels that don't touch, it qualifies as multisyllable, and then so this rule applies to it. So our consonants in sipsha are s, I, p, sh, Here's our TI spelling, and then Now, if you weren't here in A month, here's something that you're going to love about A. When you hear at the end of a word, spell it with an A. When you hear at the end of a word, spell it with an A. So this is how you spell sha. I'm going to put that right here. It's the second of our 3 common endings that use the TI spelling. And then all we have left is I. And this I can spell the I sound right here just fine because of those 2 consonants after it. There is sipsha, sipsha. Okay, your word, I'm going to make this one a little harder because the one on the paper is a little easy. Let me think for a second. Okay. Bifsha. Bifsha. So we have b, I, f, sh. That third sound is f, like Frank, friend, flower. This is f, like Frank, friend, or flower. Your word is bifsha. Bifsha. How do you spell bifsha? How do you spell bifsha? Gorgeous, Lily. Nice, Beverly. Yes, Joseph. Very good. Nice, Francesco. Excellent. Gorgeous, Sheldon. Well done, my friend. Yes, Julie. Beautiful. Bifsha. Take your time. Bifsha. Nice, Daryl. Good, Joe. Joe, actually, the first sound is a b, but I know that's kind of hard to hear in the mic sometimes. Bifsha. Bifsha. All right, consonants. We have b, I, f, sh. Now here's our sh sound. When you hear sh toward the end, this is our spelling rule for the day. When you hear sh toward the end of a multi-syllable word and there's a vowel after it, we're going to spell it with a T-I. And then when you hear at the end of a word, spell it with an A. When you hear at the end of a word, spell it with an A. Here is that spelling for you right down here at the corner. All right, my friends, let's try triscent. Let's try triscent. How would you spell triscent? We have t, I, sh, n, t. I want to do this one with you first, okay? Even though you probably do this one on your own, I just want to set you up for success on this. So our consonants are t, I. Here's our sh sound spelled with a T-I. Ends with an N-T, right? Those are all our consonant sounds. Triscent. This right here is why it's so important for us to warm up our ears at the beginning of class so that we learn that N is 2 sounds and not 1. So each one of those micro sounds has its own spelling. So now our vowels. This I can be spelled with this I sound can be spelled with a long I right there just fine because of the tap 2 rule. Right here is spelled with a short E, which makes that short sound because of the tap 2 rule, those 2 consonants after it. So there's triscent. I wanted you to focus on this shent right here. That is our 3rd most common ending of a word that includes that TI spelling for the sh sound. So we have shun, sha, and shent. Let me show you those. Here is shun, sha, and shent. And each one of those, the TI is spelling the sh sound. And each one of those, that sh sound is toward the end of a multi-syllable word. And in each one of those, there's a vowel after it. So that's how you know when to use that TI spelling. It's probably not going to be an SH in this spot. Toward the end like that with a vowel after it, it's probably going to be a TI. All right, so your word is Pliant. Pliant. We have p, o, I, sh, e, n, t. Pliant. I'm excited to see your answers in the Q&A. Pliant. Pliant. Does TI only come at the end of words? It can come anywhere in a word, but it has different pronunciations. It will only say that sound toward the end of a multisyllable word or wherever it's unaccented. Usually that's where a word is unaccented or where the syllable is unstressed. It's toward the end of a word like that. Pliant. Good question. There you go. You're getting it. Nice. This sound right here, everybody, is this right there. Okay, big juicy hint. Make sure that this right here is this right here. Yeah. So this vowel, third from the end, is this vowel, third from the end, down here at the bottom of the whiteboard, okay? Feel free to change your answer. Nothing's permanent. So our consonants in pliant are p, o, I. Here's our sh that we're going to spell with a T-I. Why? Two reasons. It's toward the end of a multisyllable word and there's a vowel after it. So we're spelling with a T-I. And here we have our n, t sounds. Now we have two vowel sounds to spell. Our first one, I, is going to be spelled with a long I right there, just fine because of the tap 2 rule. It can make its long sound. And this is different than I, right? Is your jaw is dropped more and your mouth comes in a little bit. Your mouth is in a long wide grin. Versus This one is with your jaw dropped. Like egg, exit, elbow, excellent. Spell with an E, which is making its short sound right there because of the tap 2 rule. There's pliant. And if you'll notice, there it is right down there at the end. Of course, of course. All right, let's give you one more. I think we have time for one more. Let's make this one kind of a medium one. How about the word, I want Lycian. Lycian. How do you spell Lycian? Very good, Lily. I love that. Lycian. L-I-sh-a-n. Put that in the Q&A for me. How do you spell Lycian? That wasn't even hard for you, was it, Beverly? Rowan, pay really close attention to this ending right here. Whenever you hear shun at the end of a word, like lotion, potion, motion, it's probably going to be spelled like this right here. Shun. There we go. Yeah. Lily, give me one more letter. Actually, I think I want you to change that third I to this spelling over here. There we go. Beautiful, my friends. Nice, everyone. All right, so our consonants are O, I. Here's our sh that we're not going to spell with an SH. We're spelling it with a TI because it's toward the end of a longer word and there's a vowel after it. We can see because we dotted that sound when we first started spelling. And then the N. Our I is spelled with an I right here because of the tap 2 rule. Here's our shun suffix that is spelled T-I-O-N. Lycian. You must feel good about what you learned today or what you relearned. You now know or you recall that SH is only one of the ways you can spell the sh sound. Usually SH is reserved for the beginning of words or at the end of short words. But in those multi-syllable words, especially when it's a suffix like shun, that sh sound is going to be spelled with a TI. When it's toward the end of a longer word and there's a vowel after it, you're probably going to spell it with a TI. There are other spellings too, and we're going to learn one of those next time on Wednesday. So join me over there on Wednesday again. In the meantime, go teach somebody about TI. It'll just help it sink into your long-term memory even stronger. All right, my friends, have a great night. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Now I have about 30 seconds. Hello, everybody, for joining me. Hello, YouTube. Hello, TikTok. I have about 30 seconds to prepare for my last class. I have an adult reading class now, so I'm going to pull that up here. All right. And I'm going to get ready to let them in. I'm happy that you joined me. Thanks for being a fly on the wall in my class. It's nice to have you. Okay, they're all here ready for me to start the class, so I'm going to pay attention to them now. But thanks again for joining me and watching our class. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our reading class. If you just came over from the spelling class, hello again. If you're brand new, hello, special welcome to you. And if you're watching the recordings, it's nice to have you. We're going to begin by warming up our ears. Please tell me how many sounds are in the word grain. Grain. How many sounds are in the word grain? And then drop that number in the Q&A for me, please. We are counting the sounds in grain. If you just joined us, welcome. Grain. Getting lots of 4s and 5s in the Q&A. Actually, it looks like it's about tied for 4 and 5 sounds in grain. I think I might know why that is. All right, so in grain, we have a consonant blend with that second letter being an R. Sometimes that R can be hard to pull off a 2-letter blend like that, but we have to train our brain to be able to do it. So we have G, R, A, N. 4 sounds. Now, since so many of you got 5, I think I might know why that is. I think it might be because A is a diphthong, and you might have heard that E sound at the very end of it. A, right? Is that where you got the 5th sound? Or go ahead and put in the Q&A. Yeah, that's where you got it. Yeah, that's just brilliant in my book, that your ears are getting so tuned to micro sounds now that you can even pull off the sounds within a diphthong. That is something that should be celebrated in my book. Well done. But in grain, we're going to count that A sound. Same with I. I is a diphthong. A is a diphthong. We're going to count them as one sound for just technical reasons and for counting, because diphthongs are infinite in the number of sounds that are within the beginning and to the end, so it's impossible to count. So we're counting it as one sound. So we have G, R, A, N. 4 sounds spelled like this. So that good job, everybody, for breaking off the G and the R. Every single person got that. Why do we count diphthongs sometimes but not others? So we usually don't count a diphthong we'll only count it as one sound. If you can give me an example, let's see, like K and O-W. Oh, ow. K's. Oh, I see what you mean there. So Q and X are even more than a diphthong. They are two complete units of sound stuck together. K is a K sound and an S sound. X is, no, Q is a K sound and a W sound. X is a K sound and an S sound. A diphthong is a little more nuanced, a little more subtle, like ow. I like your example of ow. It's just impossible to separate those two sounds within ow. So we would count it as two if they are able to be separated, basically, if there's a hard stop to each sound. But if they're just kind of flowing from one to the next, then it's impossible to separate it, and that's when we count it as one sound. But I love your brilliant question. Okay, so there's grain. That AI is spelling the A sound in grain. Very common spelling for the A sound in the middle of words, especially short words. Okay, next. How many sounds in? Now I'm going to say the WH sound as a blowing sound. Can you hear that in the mic? It's okay to also count it as just a W sound. Whoa, whoa. Either way, we're going to count it as one sound. WH, when I blow it like that, it's actually a diphthong again, but we're going to count it as one sound, okay? So how many sounds in whiskers? Whiskers. How many sounds in whiskers? How many sounds in whiskers? Getting a lot of sixes and several fives in whiskers. So let's figure it out. In whiskers, we have I, S, K, Z. If you put 5, it might be possible that you just made it singular and not plural, and that's okay. So whiskers, plural, has 6 sounds. We have I, S, K, Z, 6. Here's how they're spelled. There's that WH spelling of the sound. It's interesting, but the spelling of the sound that WH makes is an HW. WH sounds like HW. And then that ER is spelling the sound. That S is spelling it's a vibrating sound. S has 2 sounds. Okay, one more to count. This one also has that WH sound in it, but I want you to count that sound as 1. Your word is pinwheel. Pinwheel. It's a compound word. So you can count each word separately and then add them together. Pinwheel. What do you think? Are W and WH the same sound? That's a kind of a controversial question because part of the reading community thinks yes, and part of it basically it can be the same sound. W and WH can be the same sound, and that is how it is being taught lately in schools, and it's perfectly fine. However, if you hear it as like I am describing it, that is how it has been pronounced for a long time, for centuries. And it's just now starting to get changed into that W sound. So both are correct. All right, sounds in pinwheel, pinwheel. We have p, I, n, e, l, 6. 3 sounds in pin, 3 sounds in wheel. P, I, n, e, l, 6 sounds. Here's how they're spelled. The EE is spelling the E sound. It is making, it follows the tap 2 rule right there. Okay, 3 more warm-up questions. Say the word sped. Sped. Now say sped, but add an after the F. Say sped, but add an after the F. Okay, when you do that, sped changes to spend. Sped to spend. How is that one? Easy, medium, or hard? Put an E. Yeah. Put an E, M, or H in the Q&A. Okay, getting an assortment of answers for that one. Probably because L, N, and R are the hardest to hear, the hardest to spell, and the hardest to read. And that was usually in every single one of these, I use one of those letters to develop that brain muscle to hear those. Okay, next one. Say the word plant, like a plant that you plant. Now say plant, but add a sound. Add an eh after the n. So we have plant, then add an eh after the n. So yes, it's going to change it from a one-syllable word to a two-syllable word, if you were wondering. So we have little a, n, t. When we put an eh right here, we have little a, n, et, planet. Plant to planet. Plant, planet. Easy, medium, or hard? That one was hard, Blair? Easy, medium, easy, hard, easy, easy, hard, hard, easy, hard, hard. Not too many mediums, lots of easies and hards for that one. Yeah, it's kind of difficult when you're going from one syllable to two syllable and back and forth. All right, last one, last warm-up question. Say the word staple, like you're going to staple your paper. Now say staple, but change the p to a b. Let me see that again. Say staple, but change the p to a b. So it's the same mouth shape, you're just adding vibration. So when you do that, staple changes to stable. Staple to stable. What'd you do? How'd you do on that one? Easy, medium, or hard? That one was more easy for a lot of people. Still hard for plenty. I like the exclamation point, Joe. That's good news. All right, my friends. We get to dive farther into I today. And we are learning that I is a helper letter in several instances. Well, you're going to learn that today. It is going to be part of a digraph. A digraph is two letters that makes one sound. Here are the most common digraphs that we use in English. We have SH, CH, TH, WH. And we have some trigraphs, three letters that make one sound, TCH, DGE, okay? So a digraph is two letters that makes one sound. Usually we grow up thinking that SH is the only option to say shh, but you are going to see in today's lesson that TI spells the sh sound when you see it toward the end of a multi-syllable word and there's a vowel after it. Those are the two qualifiers. So TI will say shh when it's toward the end of a longer word and there's a vowel after it, most of the time. I'm going to say that's about a 90% of the rule. There are a few exceptions, but they're rare. There are a couple other ways to spell the sh sound also, but we're going to go over those in other lessons. We're going to do one on Wednesday, but today we're going to do the most common. And you're going to see this a lot, T-I-O-N. So you probably also grew up thinking or knowing that T-I-O-N spells shun, right? But did you ever stop to wonder why TI spells shun? Because there's not a SH and there's not a what's going on with that? Well, it actually does follow all the typical phonetic patterns. That TI spells sh when it's toward the end of a longer word and there's a vowel after it. That vowel O spells which is very common. It's a common sound for when it's toward the end of a word like that and there's a consonant after it. We're going to learn more about that in O month. So in today's words, you're going to see a lot of shun, T-I-O-N. You're going to see a lot of sha, T-I-A. And we learned about that A, spelling the schwa sound back in A month. But if you're new, A says when it's the very last letter. A says when it's the very last letter. So when you have a T-I-A at the end of a multisyllable word, it's going to spell sha, sha. Okay? And then the last one you're going to see probably in this lesson, let me just take a glance. Yeah, is this T-I-E-N-T. And it's going to spell exactly what you would expect. You know what that T-I is going to spell. It's going to spell the sh sound toward the end of a longer word, and that vowel after it, E, is making its typical short sound, because of the two consonants that are after it. Who's following me so far? Did I lose you yet? Why do some words end with shun and others in jun or shun? All right, I love your questions. So I'll just take a quick second and address that. So he is MP. Hope I said that right. So T-I-O-N versus S-I-O-N versus, I'm going to put that, this last one is A-N. So S-I-O-N can say shun sometimes, but it's rare. S-I-O-N usually says jeune, like television, erosion. It's a vibrating SH sound. J. It can say shun if it comes after an N or an S, but that's more rare. That C-I-A-N, yes, you are right. That's what we're going to learn on Wednesday. So I'll probably hold off on explaining more about that one until Wednesday. And I say E like I think in sodium. Yeah, exactly. That I does say E in that word for a different reason, but yes, you're right. Okay, let's get spelling. I'm going to share my screen. And we can get reading. Reading, I mean, not spelling. All right, let me see if I should blow this up just a little bit more. I think that's better. All right, let's do our first word. Now, our first word has a G here. G has two sounds, hard and soft. Vowels are long and short. G and C are hard and soft. The hard sound for G is G. It sounds hard, G. The back of the tongue is kicking off against the back of the throat. Same with C. The hard sound for C sounds hard. K, k. The back of the tongue kicks off against the back of the throat. So the hard sounds for G and C are G and K. One is just voiced and one is voiceless. Those are the most common by far. G and C will make their hard sound almost always. So if you must make an educated assumption, go with the hard sound, G and K. But you don't even have to guess, because if the next letter is an E, I, or Y after either letter, they're going to make their soft sound, J and S. But we're going to have a whole lesson on that. I think that one is in August. But for now, I wanted you to know what sound to use for the G and the C. Always use the hard sound. Okay, so we have this long O right here. We can tell because there's a vowel one or two doors down. This TI is our reading hack for the day. And it says sh when it's toward the end of a multisyllable word, and there's a vowel after it, which we have right there. That O is spelling the schwa sound. This T-I-O-N says shun. So I'm going to say all of the sounds separating each one. I was just debating there for a second whether we should approach shun as a unit, but we're going to separate each sound like we usually do. So we have G, O, sh, n. Goshen. Goshen. Goshen, kind of like lotion. All right, your word over here. Go ahead and try it. I have a feeling you're going to get this one pretty simple. Okay. Oh, Kaylee, you wanted to know why that I says I mean E? Because there's a vowel after it. That's very, very common. And then for I in the middle, like that when there's a vowel after it. All right, so let's do this word. We have our O that says it's long sound O because there's a vowel in the next one or two spots. We have this TI that is saying shh because there is a vowel after it. And this O is spelling the schwa sound and saying ah. So our sounds are b, o, sh, Botion. Botion. How did you do on Botion? Give me a Y, yes, or A almost for Botion. Beautiful. That's what I was hoping you would say. Let's try number 2. All right, let's do number 2 together. Here we have a hard C, a long A, another long A. Here's our TI. Here's our schwa. Right? These two A's are long because of the tap 2 rule. So our sounds are k, a, d, a, sh, n. Blending those together, gradation, gradation, gradation. Try yours over here, but before you do, I want to set you up for success on that U right there. U has 2 long sounds. It can say its whole name, U, or just that last part, oo. And the sound of it will come out naturally based on the shape that your mouth was in when it made the sound before it. So since that sound before it, that R sound, is made with your lips in a front pucker, it's just, that long U sound is just going to make its oo sound so that it comes out naturally for your mouth. Ooh is going to be the sound of that long U. So go ahead and try the rest of this word on your own. Okay. All right. So here's our long U that says ooh right here because of the tap 2 rule. Our O also is following the tap 2 rule and says O. It says its name because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. Different from the sound of this O. This O is saying the schwa sound because it's toward the end of a longer word and there's a consonant after it. But I'll teach you that in O month next month. So for now, I'm just telling you that that O says at the end there. So our sounds are t, oo, d, o, sh, n. Blending those sounds together. Trudoshan. 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 Make sure that you get this R right here in the right spot. Trudoshan. How'd you do on Trudoshan? Y or A? Yes or almost for Trudoshan? Okay. It's not the easiest word to pronounce, so I'm expecting several A's in here. But A is still pretty darn good, isn't it? Try number 3 on your own over here. This number 3 right here. Go for it. Oh, wait. Wait, we're going to do this one together because there's a couple new things in here that I want to make sure I set you up for success. If you want to try it on your own, go for it. But I want to make sure that I give you all the tools that you need to do it successfully without guessing. So this E is going to make its short sound this time because of those 2 consonants after it. If there was only one L there, then that E would say E. But since there's 2, it must say eh. Now look at this I. This is what we learned, I think on Wednesday, last Wednesday. When you see I in the middle syllable, it gets to say I, regardless of if there are 2 consonants after it or not. It still gets to make its short sound. That's the confident rule. So this I gets to say it. This I is part of the TI grapheme that says sh. And this A at the end says ah. A at the end says ah. Now go ahead and read it. Okay, so we have d, a, o, e, sh, a. Delicia. Delicia. How'd you do on delicia? It's a little bit of a tongue twister for me. Y or A? Yes or almost for delicia. Delicia. Nice. Okay. All right. Then try. Well, actually, before we go to number 3, just to hammer this in, what would this word have said if it had only one L? If that word had only one L, what would it say? Delicia. Delicia. Now that sounds like the proper name for a restaurant. Delicia. Okay, try yours over here without me. When you see slanted lines like that, on either side of a letter or a set of letters, that means sound of. That's why I always put those in slanted lines like that. It's just how it means sound of. Oh, nice, Blair. How do you know to blend the TIA together instead of... You are going to blend it separately. So this TI is separate, a separate sound from this A. Sh, sh, delicia. You're gonna have the same opportunity over here on this word. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so this I is going to say I because there are two P's after it. This I is going to say I for a different reason because it's in the middle syllable. TI toward the end of a multi-syllable word with a vowel after it says sh. A at the end says So now that we know what all of the sounds are going to say, let's organize those sounds in our brain. We have f, o, I, p, I, sh, and then blending them together without letting any in or out or mixed around. We have flipisha, flipisha, flipisha. Make sure you are grabbing that L, flipisha. How did you do, Y or A? Yes or almost? Nice, Rowan. Flipisha. Nice, Kaylee. Good, everyone. That's a lot of Y's. Beautiful. Don't worry if you put an A. There are several A's as well. Fun. Just for fun, what would that word say with only one P? What would that word say with only one P? Now it turns to fly pisha. Fly pisha. You knew that, didn't you? Okay, let's try one more. Try it number... let's do number 4 over here. This one. What would this one say? You try it without me. I'm not going to mark it. You didn't see that. I want you to mark it on your own without me. NP, I can do number 9 before we leave. There's more than 2 ways to spell SH, Kaylee, if you can believe that. There's several. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking about in this word. The TI has to have a vowel after it to say sh. Yeah. So this O is going to say O because of the tab 2 rule. This TI and this TI are not going to say the same thing. TI has 2 qualifiers to pronounce the sh sound. It has to be toward the end of a multisyllable word and it has to have a vowel after it. This TI does not have a vowel after it, so it's just going to make its normal T sound. This TI does, so it's going to make its sh sound. And this E is pronounced as eh right there because of the tap 2 rule. Our sounds are o, t, I, sh, n, t. Blending them together. Row, wrote, rote, rotish, rotisha, rotition, roticient, roticient. How did you do on roticient? Yay! That was a good one, April. Thank you, Blair. I had a request. We have 1 minute left for number 9 down here. So let's see if you want to try this one real fast before we have to let you go. Try number 9 down here. Go for it. You can do it. You can also do number 10. If you can do these, you can read anything. You don't even need me. You're so much better than you think. You can do this without me. You're doing it, aren't you? You're reading it, aren't you? Yeah. So we have k, I, n, t, I, p, o, sh, n. Blending them together. Contripotion. 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 Feel free to put a message for that one, how you felt on that one. I knew it! It looks hard, but when you break it down, it's not so hard. I knew you could do it, Lily. Beautiful. And you guys, number 10 is not as hard as it looks either. Just break it up, mark the vowels, blend slowly, and you can get it. It's pretty fun when you know how, and you don't have to just rely on hoping, right? You guys have the tools now to read so many words. You're going to notice that TI is in so many words, and now you know what it says and why. Congratulations on your new knowledge. I am so happy for you. Have a great rest of your night, my friends, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Bye, everybody. Okay, so that was the end of my teaching my classes. Let me just see if there are any comments that I can answer here before I let you go. So I'm looking at YouTube right now. What word are you working on? So only my class members get to see these words. So you're just watching me teach. So you wouldn't be able to see them unless you were in my class. I hope you can join. That'd be great. And then over here on TikTok, how to teach my daughter how to differentiate between AU, AW, or OU. AU and AW are a very deep, short O sound. Oh. OU definitely makes it, usually makes a different sound. It sounds like ow. And it's a little difficult to explain all of the nuances about those, how to differentiate between all the pronunciations and all the different spellings for those sounds on a live, but that's what I teach you in here in that workbook right there. All right, my friends, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me as I teach. See you next time. Bye, everybody.